I'm not a software engineer actually. I'm more on RF side. So I design antennas for the satellites, but I haven't worked for a year now. My contract got over in March 2020, and then I didn't find any job here because she was just born, and I wanted to spend some time with her. So in a month or so, I'll start looking. I came last year, December. I moved to South Africa for the work. So I was working for South African government. So I worked there for 3 years. Before that, I was in India, and then I got married. So husband was here, so I moved here. I'm really looking forward to work, to go back to the work and start doing what I'm expert in. I'm really looking forward and just seeing the ways to help the woman in my community back home. So I come from a very small village in India. It's like we just have 20,000 population in the village. It's my daughter's, we celebrate every month her birthday. So she's just going to be one on 24th. It's been a bit of a tough journey, I can say that. But yeah, now things are getting settled. So yeah. So with my baby, I never breastfeeded her. I have pumped the milk and given it to her. But because Arya was born with cleft lip and palate, it was very difficult for me because she never latched on me, and I had to pump it. And they say like once I don't know how true it is, but I have read about it. They say like when baby latches on you and sucks milk, it's your body produces some kind of hormones which produces more milk. But for me, that never happened. So I had to try many kind of techniques like holding Arya on one side and pumping on the other side, and it was really difficult for me. And then she had breast milk for, let's say, 6 months, 6.5 months. She went for her surgery, for her lip surgery. And after the lip surgery, somehow she totally went off the milk. So she's not on milk at all now. It was really hard. I really had to speak to the, how to say, I went through a very bad postnatal depression also. So there was a counselor, and my doctor was like really kind to me when I said like, I really feel like pressure on me about this breastfeeding, and at some point of time, I just felt like this is the only life, And on top of that, Arya was a very needy baby because of her condition, So it wasn't like I can just give the milk and she can have it, She was having it with a spatial bottle. So you need to have spatial time to feed her also. So you didn't have time to do anything else, sort of. Once the baby is born, it's all about the baby. It's never about the mother. You eat this because this is good for baby. You sit like this because this is good for baby. You stand like this because this is good for baby. So you as a person stop existing actually. I'm not sure, but I personally feel like it really hit me hard. My depression was really, really on a very bad scale. I have changed medication 4 times, and I've been on a now very heavy dose and taking CBT and other things. So, and a part of breastfeeding is a part, is really played a very important part in that, is what I feel. In India, I'm talking about the people back home, it's a bit of a taboo topic. No one talks about it. It's just like, how to say, the baby is born and you have to feed. There's nothing to discuss there. It's more like that is something you have been put into, or maybe for some women forced into, or maybe for some women it's a choice, but it is not something people really talk about. It's not something that we consider as option, that breastfeeding is an option for us. It's really not like for most of the population. I think it's true. People are just now going more to the metro cities, and women have started working in the last, let's say, 20-30 years. So now slowly it's like something, for some women it's a choice, but there are many families who are living together in a joint family, who are living in a town, who are living in a small villages and all. For them it's not a choice. I think everyone around me, it wasn't a choice or an option. It's just something, as a mother, you give birth, you have to feed. It's more like that, I think. I think there's more, how to say, the thought process is still not that broad, in that formula milk also have the same kind of nutrients and proteins and vitamins that a mother milk has. So if mother is not able to produce enough milk, it is okay to substitute it with the formula milk. but I think that's still not there. They still feel like, no, the mother milk is the ultimate thing from which you can get all the proteins or vitamins. For the first 6 weeks, I got the help from the NHS team because I wasn't able to produce enough milk. There were a lot of factors, Arya's medical condition, then she couldn't latch, and we didn't have any support system around us. It was just me and my husband alone in home. So it was really difficult for me. I wasn't able to produce enough amount of milk for Arya. So I was taking their help, and they suggested few of the methods to massage, and try to give some supplementary dietary things to have so that I can produce enough milk. But still, for me, it was never the enough milk, so we have to substitute it for with the formula milk for Arya. So I think that's the maximum I could just pump out. Even if I'll keep the machine for 1 hour, 35, 45 minutes. I was like, I couldn't do more than 200. And it used to really make me feel sad because I think it's more to do with the dietary thing also in India. Once you give birth, they give you only millets and milk and wheat grain boiled in the milk and all the kind of dietary food they provide you. It seems like it gives a lot of fluid in your body, and you can produce more milk. We did stuff over Zoom. We had most of the cleft meetings on Zoom, and we had our health visitor. But health visitor has to come because of her medical condition. They had to monitor her weight gain. So they came every other week. The health visitor came to us. GP was really, really kind, because after 1 week, she was born, and after 1 week we realized she has reflux problem. And it was so bad, she couldn't keep anything in. So we went through a lot of medications for reflux also. We were calling GP almost every day, but they were really kind to us. Yeah. This whole experience has made me and my husband come more close and more compassionate towards each other, because we have seen each other suffering and struggling. Oh my God. If I can even reach even 5 people back home and say, it's okay if you can't produce milk, it's okay. If you want to express, and it's okay to even give formula milk at some point of time where your mental health is really playing with you when it comes to expressing, and then the expectations that, oh, she is a mother, she gave birth, she should have milk. It's physically everyone can do the stuff around them. It's more the mental support that you need that time. Families there, your partner thinks, okay, maybe everyone is around, you don't need that kind of support. But I think you need that kind of support from your partner more than your family during that particular time or moment. If not for my husband's support, we haven't been through, we have been through really, really so much. We have been through 2 big operations. She had her lip operation, then she had her cleft operation, which failed. And then her being born with cleft lip and palate and needing all those specialized things for feeding, for taking care of. I think if not for him being supportive to me, I can say it was very difficult. I wouldn't have survived, seriously. I have given my husband's example to many of my friends that, he has been really kind and considerate. Because I'm talking to you, he's taking care of the baby, though he's working. He has taken 1 and 2 hours of break, and he will compensate it in the evening when the baby is sleeping. UK went on the lockdown 1 day before she was born. It's because of the lockdown I was stuck with my husband and daughter both in the same house for 24/7. He's working in a software company, so as soon as the lockdown happened, they just said you have to work from home. And it's like every time lockdown opened, and they thought, okay, we'll call back the people in the office. Again, something happened. So it's been a year now that he's working from home. In the beginning, we had a lot of pressure about the breast milk, about how to take care of the baby, and we both were new parents and alone, and we don't have any relatives. And then we went into lockdown, so we couldn't even contact people. No one can come and help us. And because Arya had condition, we were also worried that we shouldn't go anywhere. We shouldn't call anyone, because we didn't want her to have any kind of problem because of we being careless, or because of we not able to handle the situation. So maybe for me, it was a different experience. I would have preferred going out and meeting more moms. And, Zoom is you really don't see things. You are seeing things in real time, but still it's not a real time experience like when you have other moms with the babies. It makes a huge difference when you see them in person, because every mom's deal with their baby in a different way. somehow I just felt like I missed that chance. And I think Arya also as a baby is not used to new people around her because she hasn't seen many people. It's been
Yeah.
almost a year. We are in lockdown. So when she meet new people, she's like really scared. She doesn't want to leave me or her father. It's very difficult for her to mingle with anyone.